Record. I think it needs to be Eugene.
There we go. All sorted. Okay, welcome along everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name's Jen Simpson and I'm joining you from Newcastle University Business School. And today I'm on the call with some colleagues of mine who are going to be talking to you and answering your questions in a little bit more detail about our postgraduate portfolio, specifically your interest in international MSc International Business, MSc Global HR Management, and our MSc in Management. Before we get going, it's just a quick line to say that these sessions are designed so that you can get answers to all of your questions and can feel confident about moving ahead with an offer from Newcastle University Business School for September, or perhaps will help you look at your options in a little bit more detail and get some extra information about what might be the next move in your postgraduate career. So without further ado, I'll move to the next slide. So just a quick one on our agenda today. I'm not going to talk about anything in too high detail because we are very lucky to have our degree programme directors on the call, and I think it's probably most valuable for you to hear from them. But what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about why the value of a postgraduate degree and why it could be useful to you. Then we'll talk at quite a high level about the programmes themselves and what the high level features of those programmes look like. We'll talk a little bit about the return on investment that you can expect within these programs in terms of your career opportunities and employability. We'll talk very briefly about the admissions process and what to expect during that process. And then we'll dive straight into it with our degree program directors, where you will have the opportunity to ask your questions and learn a little bit more directly from these colleagues. So first of all, it's a huge decision coming to study a postgraduate degree, whether you're somebody who's in the UK and is considering a return back to full-time study, or perhaps you are an international student thinking about perhaps studying in the UK or maybe another country to help develop your technical skills, your academic skills, and also have a fantastic personal experience as well. So just to kind of think a little bit about why it's a good thing to do this, or maybe otherwise, what we know to be true is that postgraduate study, especially here in the UK and especially at our university, choosing the right program can allow you to really enhance your career prospects and your earning potential going forwards. Now, there's couple of different ways that you can look at postgraduate study. You can use it as an opportunity to expand your knowledge on a particular area, or you can really use it to hone in and become a real specialist in a particular area. And we have a huge portfolio of programs, a few of which we'll talk about today, to help you flesh out what that could look like for you. You can also have the opportunity, by coming and studying internationally at an internationally recognised business school, the opportunity to meet people from all over the world. And that's not just the people who you will be sat next to in your classrooms and in your seminar groups, but also interact and build a network of contacts with our academic colleagues who teach here in the business school, who come from all over the world and have a high degree of research calibre behind them as well. We know that it's a competitive job market out there, and that's something that we take very seriously here at Newcastle University Business School. So we're very proud of our careers and employability team and the support that they provide. And we'll work with you right the way throughout your degree and actually afterwards as a part of our alumni community to make sure that you are fully supported in your goals and what you want to achieve going forwards. And also, living and working in the UK can be a fantastic experience with lots of opportunities to grow your cultural awareness. Newcastle upon Tyne is a really vibrant city based in a really strategically relevant part of the country. We are the last great city before you hit Scotland, and we are around 3 hours or so north on the train from London. So we're very well appointed with fantastic links to mainland Europe as well. So without further ado, we'll talk a little bit about our international business programme, our MSc in International Business, which until this year was known as International Business Management, but has recently undergone a slight rebrand. The first thing that you need to be aware of with this particular programme is that you can also study a pathway in this degree. So you can also study this as a sustainability pathway, but I will let our degree programme director, Johannes, talk about that in a little bit more detail. This degree is one of our largest cohorts here in the business school. It has a range of focus areas and is really ideal for people who are interested in developing their business functional knowledge and practice in an international environment. So what you will find with this particular program is that they will focus on areas including managing across cultures, managing a global international team, developing international strategies, so not just strategies which are applicable in a particular areas, but strategy leadership, which will help you develop a work approach, a successful work approach, on a global level. It will also think about and look at managing change. It's a very disruptive market out there, and the need for flexibility in terms of strategy and organizational development has never been more important. So the degree will look at that as well, and also cultivating a greater understanding of contemporary business issues. So it's a very practical degree. You will get the opportunity to put your skills into practice straight away, and will also give you the opportunity to test your skills, your newly acquired skills, in a safe environment, so that you can then leverage them in your graduate career afterwards. So in terms of the skills that you can expect to get from this particular degree, obviously a lot of time will be spent on gaining a global perspective on a range of business functions. So that's everything from finance through to leadership, through to marketing and so forth. And there's a range of compulsory modules and optional modules as well. And you will have the opportunity to really tailor your experience to meet what you think is going to be important and of interest to you. You will also have the opportunity to problem solve and develop a strategic decision-making approach, which will help you not only thrive in terms of your immediate career just straight after your graduation, but also leverage those on into more senior roles as you develop through your career going forwards. Just on the right-hand side of this slide, you'll notice that we've included a few logos. These logos are related to companies that are some of our very recent graduates. So those graduates who finished the program in September just gone have recently secured roles in. So obviously we've got KPMG up there, a huge global consultancy organization with offices all over the world. Benicia, who are a housing association based here in the northeast of England. Durham Lane, who are a marketing solutions organization. And Betfred, who are a national online gambling company, just to name but a few. Some of the roles that have gone there are very wide reaching. We have team leaders, we have salespeople, marketing people, project managers and business analysts. So the range of roles that our graduates from this program go into is very wide ranging. Moving on now to MSc in our Global Human Resource Management program. This is one of the longer established programs here in the business school. The first thing I should say about this particular program is that whilst it also has specific focus areas, like all of our programs, it is also professionally accredited by the CIPD. The CIPD is a Chartered Institute of Professional Development, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to be professionally accredited. So you not only get the master's degree when you graduate off this particular program, but you also get the professional accreditation that is highly sought after in the UK jobs market as well, and is something that employers will be looking for in terms of their hiring when they are thinking about human resource management and organizational development as well. So this particular program, it allows our students to develop the knowledge and the theoretical understanding of how to manage diverse workforces, and that's across, that's within a national organization and also an international organization as well. It recognizes all of the different kind of nuances that will include, so global socioeconomic interdependence and interconnectedness as well. So it won't just teach you about HR in isolation. It'll make sure it's linked up to opportunities across the world. It will also give you the softer skills that are necessary to thrive in this area. So make sure that you've got a good understanding of diversity and cultural sensitivities and some practical skills and how to deploy them within your career and within your area of expertise. And it will also help you conceptually understand and analyze data necessary to be able to really have an impact on organizational design. In terms of how you are assessed on this particular program, you can decide whether you want to do an independent HR dissertation project, or you can conduct a practice-based project with input from our HR practitioners. As I said, we do have our DPD, one of our academics from this particular program on the call, so they will be able to answer questions on this area towards the end of the session. Again, just looking at the right-hand side of that of this particular slide, I've included some examples of recent destinations of our students who graduated back in September. So we have people who've gone off and worked in a range of organisational development roles, so HR assistants, organisational development analytics specialists have gone off to work in places like in architects. We've got a marketing organisation in amongst there through SoPost. We've got a logistics company called Sistra, and we also have, I think they're an international retail company, Lavisa, where somebody's gone to work as well. So this this program is highly specialised, but it is a progression. Sorry, it is a conversion degree. So it does mean that regardless of your background, as long as you have the entry criteria to come onto this program, you would have the opportunity to really specialise in a highly demand in an area that's in high demand within the world of work. And then last but by no means least is our newly launched MSc in Management, which was only launched in September of last year. So we currently have our first cohort going through the programme at the moment, which explains why I don't have any interests and logos to look at, unfortunately, on the right-hand side of this particular slide. But this time next year we will. So Sarah is on the call and she'll talk about this in much more detail, but our MSc Management was developed to be able to provide an opportunity for our students, well, for all students to come and learn about the world of management and have access to a range of different career outcomes as a result of this. What it does is it'll delve into an area and lots of different areas of functional business. So you have the opportunity to really tailor your experience through some optional modules. But as a foundation piece to this particular MSc program, you'll start by studying things like strategy, marketing, people services, finance, all the kind of the important building blocks that make up any kind of organization. From there you can go on and tailor that a little bit more. You also get a 12-month module throughout this particular program that focuses just on your career development. The reason that this has been built in is that we understand that this is a very broad degree, so it's important that whatever you go on to do next, you are able to leverage and show return on investment through your learning. So there is a 12-month module in there that will allow you to explore your opportunities. It will give you the tools to really research what's going to be next for you, be it in the UK or further afield as well. So I'm aware that we've got our academics who are waiting on the call here. I'll pause just very briefly just to see if there's any questions in the chat box. Like I say, please don't worry about asking questions. Well, it's really important to us that you get all the answers that you need. Okay, no questions for the moment. What I'll do is I'll quickly move, if it's all right with everybody, I'll quickly move to talking to our academics and getting their input onto these various programs. And then after that, we can revisit the application process and any other questions that people might have. So we have Johannes on the call, who's here to talk to us a little bit about international business and sustainability. We have Sarah, who's here to talk to us about MSc Management, and Joe Clark, who is here representing the MSc Global Human Resource Management program as well. So
there's one question, Jen, in the chat now.
Oh, is there? Fantastic. Let's have a look. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stop sharing. And then that means that we can keep an eye on that.
I could answer it from my point of view, but I don't know if others might want to say something. So, Soumitra, unique features or specializations offered in these programs. I would say that for my program, the MSc in Global Human Resources Management, that is a specialist program. It's specializing in managing people within organizations. So as Jen said earlier, Jennifer said, it gives you not only the academic MSc, but it also gives you a professional accreditation. So you would come out with an additional qualification, if you like, which is something CIPD, Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, and it's also recognised by the American SHRM Association as well. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's from my point of view, a particular, if you like, functional specialism that you can gain from studying what we call GHRM, Global Human Resources Management. You don't have to go into HR at the end of it and as a function, but it does give you that option.
Maybe, I don't know, from the IB program perspective, I can provide a bit of feedback there. I think one of the unique features that we have on the IB program is that we have a module that is very much focused on a simulation. So we work with a simulation software where you run your own digital company in teams. And that's quite a condensed, quite an intensive module, but students always really enjoy it. And it's towards the end of your studies, so in semester 3. And what we really do with this module, therefore, is building on what you've learned in the previous modules, and then give you the opportunity to practice what you've learned through a hands-on experience. And that's really well received generally, and gives students really a bit of an insight on how to run a company, the complexity of that. And that's also what's captured by what Jen talked about earlier in terms of the strategic decision making. So really drawing on all the different elements that you've learned about and then being able to really put that into practice. I think that's quite a nice feature of the IB program, so the International Business Program. And of course, the simulation contains those elements of international business. So where do you expand to? How do you manage different locations? How do you put marketing budgets together and stuff like that? So it's really good fun. And I think that's definitely one of the features that I most enjoy about the IB program.
Speaking on behalf of the academic team for MSc Management, I think there are quite a few unique features to this program. And one of those is that this is a conversion program, in a sense that if you wish to basically expand your knowledge about the function that is called management, you don't need to have any background in business management before. So basically the program is targeted as those who may not have any experience in business and management, and they wish to really consider this as a career prospect. And then being a newly developed program, we've had a really good look at our module portfolio and what we're offering to make sure that they're up to date and they really capture all the recent changes and trends in the world of, business and technology. And therefore, we have modules that really reflect these, for example, technological changes or changes in the environment, all the sensitive issues that businesses are dealing with, for example, climate change, and modules such as managing extreme context are aiming to look at such changes. And then the third unique feature of the program, I would say, is that you can really make your own pathway, because we offer a really good range of optional modules in the second semester of your studies. In the first semester, we provide you with basic fundamental sort of knowledge that you need to gain through our modules. But in the second semester, you will have basically to make a choice. You will be offered 9 different modules, and these are on different topics, taking from entrepreneurship, technology management, finance, HR management, change management, etc. And you can make a choice depending on what you want to basically plan for your future career, to then put together basically program for yourself in the second semester to specialize in a way.
Thank you. That's been really useful. I think it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming understanding, making that decision on whether it's, you know, the difference, the nuance between, you know, a business degree or a degree with a title where the title includes business and a management degree. So that's really helpful.
Can I ask a question? I don't know, Sumitra, if you feel able to say in the chat what you think you might be interested in. Is there anything about what you've heard that you think is maybe of more interest to you? I don't know, or if anyone has any other questions.
Just while we're waiting for any more questions to come in, would it be possible just to talk a little bit about the industry links each of the programs have? I know that we work really closely with external organizations all the time, in fact, lots of different ways, and it might be useful for people to understand a bit more about that.
Shall I kick off again? Oh, yeah. So one of the features of the HR program is that the largest final module, the dissertation, has 2 options in it. And so one of the particular features is that you can choose what's called a practice-based project, and that is in partnership with a business organisation or an external organisation. So this year, for example, we're working with an organisation called the In Collection Group. They're a fast-growing hospitality chain, and they're looking at some of the challenges of recruiting and attracting a workforce for that fast-growing business. So that's quite a practical, applied kind of project, which is a choice. We've had lots of other projects in other years, so see what else comes up. We've also got one of the modules which I lead on, which is the HR practitioner module. And in that module, we invite back former students, and we also link with other external organisations, and they come in and they talk about your career opportunities. So that's a really good chance to explore and understand in depth your career choices and options, really, in an HR oriented career, you know, where you could take it once you've graduated. We do that module also in conjunction with a local recruitment company who I've worked with for the past 4 years, and they come in and they really do explain the options regionally, nationally and internationally that they work on. So you get a really good sense of you know, how to approach the job market as well from that recruitment consultant perspective, which includes understanding, you know, how high to aim and at what stage in your career you can, you know, aim at what level in a realistic sort of sense. So it goes very much beyond theoretical and into a very kind of practical consideration of career development, I suppose. So that's just a couple of things.
Thanks, Jo. Johannes?
Yeah, I can go next. So adding to what Jo has said, so on the International Business Program, we also have a capstone or dissertation module that is project-based. So here, working with employers from the region, we get a business problem from them that then students get a chance to work on and come up with their own solutions. So here, again, taking what you've learned on the program, on the different modules, you can then provide insights to business. This academic year, we've also introduced a further capstone or dissertation option, the applied research project, where you choose the company that you actually want to look at, and then you write a detailed report, again, adhering to certain requirements, and you really become an expert on that kind of company. And what we've seen in the past is when students choose a company that they're really interested about, they gain the in-depth insights. Oftentimes students will choose to apply at those companies, and having that background, having done that research, really is quite useful. And so we've had quite a few students who've ended up actually working for those kinds of companies they've looked at through the assessment. The other thing is we've got guest speakers coming in every once in a while. So guest speakers from industry complementing what some of the module lectures are talking about, to provide the link between practice and theory, to highlight, okay, why does it actually matter? Why do we need to talk about it? Why do we need to consider it? And then linking it to the industry insiders. And then also, last but not least, we always make a point on this program to bring back alumni to talk about their experience. So at the beginning of the academic year, normally I bring in former students from the program from a few years out. So they've found their jobs, they found their what they want to do, and they can talk to the new students and provide a bit of advice. And then towards the end of the program, again, I have an alumni panel where we bring in more recent graduates to talk about their experience. And what we really see from that as well is that you can get some really useful guidance and advice from your former or from students who've done the program, who've completed the program. And I think what's really coming through from that is no matter what your background is, given that it is also a conversion program, so similar to the GHRM program and the Masters in Management program, the IB program is also a conversion master. So you don't need to have a background in business or management or international business. But what we see is that if you have studied, for example, engineering or literature or history or whatever it is you've done in your previous degree, can be an asset and can be complemented quite nicely by the IB angle. So providing companies in different sectors, so that might be sometimes related to your first degree, you can then also use the insights from the IB masters to really forge your niche and find opportunities building on that and complementing it through what you've learned on the IB program. So that's really something that we emphasize and we support as well. As Jen has mentioned, we've got a great employability and careers team that offers loads and loads of opportunities. And I know students on the IB program tend to take advantage of that. So we have loads of students engaging in various activities, whether it's employers coming to Newcastle, or we sometimes go out to employers to visit them at their offices. It's definitely complementing what we do in the program. So there are various links. And what we see throughout is that we have a strong alumni community. We have people always happy to come back and then share their experience, talk about how they managed to find what they're doing now, and then also providing advice and guidance. And LinkedIn, quite a useful tool. We have a quite strong community through that.
Yeah, I'd say, Johannes, I think that's a really good idea. So maybe to reach out to alumni as well, because they're always very happy to talk about their experience, I'd say. We've got, good connections. Sarah?
So on MSc Management, we still do not have an alumni body because this is the first year the program is running, but hopefully we'll also be able to invite our alumni to come back and talk to our current students about what they took away from their degree in Newcastle University Business School, and basically offer a link with industry and future employability chances for our students. We also rely on the career services in the business school, but also we're very lucky to have this year-long module, career and professional development, which really in a systematic way offers opportunities to our students to develop their employability through teamwork and team building, and skill development workshops, as well as links with industry through guest speakers, virtual internship, and basically hands-on experiments and experiences that helps them to really develop the skills they need to apply for the job that they want. In terms of our links to with the industry, we are working on that again. It's a new program, specifically through our capstone module, which is the big project that you will do if you're on the program to finish your work and show that you've what you've learned, basically. And in that, in addition to the options to do a traditional theory-based research or a dissertation, you can also do a business case research project, which will focus on a specific company and what issues they have, and then you provide solutions to the specific management issue that you have identified. And hopefully this will really prepare you for your future work in the line that you wish to pursue.
You all. Just one last sort of main question, which I think might be useful to those who are watching this video, is around the sort of academic support that students can expect on the programme, especially around dissertation and whatnot. I wonder if you wouldn't mind elaborating on, what they can expect in terms of personal tutor resources available, that kind of thing.
Can I start this time first? So in terms of pastoral care, each student will be basically given a personal tutor who they will can be able to contact whenever their basically in need of guidance. If they have any questions from the first week that you start, we will have induction activities where you will basically be given advice on how to start your academic life in the university, at the school, in the city, and your personal tutor will be your first point of contact in terms of any questions you might have, especially when it comes to your personal or pastoral issues. They will provide support. They will basically signpost where you need to go to get a specific type of support if they cannot offer the type of support you need themselves, because they're not obviously an expert in everything, but they're there to help you and guide you throughout the year. And in terms of our academic support team, obviously as the degree program directors, we are always there and very happy to address any questions, concerns, suggestions. Usually we all have a sort of format to be able to more informally have a conversation with students on our programs. For example, we have on MSc Management DPD drop-in sessions where students could participate in those in person or online to discuss any issues they might have. Our academics team, module leaders and lecturers, seminar leaders, they're all very much approachable and very happy to provide support. And in terms of your big project, the capstone project, you'll be given a supervisor to work through your project with throughout the semester that you work on your capstone, so that you can basically get continuous formative feedback from them, which will help you to do a good job in your project.
Thanks, Sarah. I don't know if anyone else has anything they want to add to that.
Joe, do you want to anything from the GHRM?
I don't know about GHRM, but I just think one of the things about Newcastle University Business School, sort of generally, is one of our strengths, which is the corporate engagement piece, that not only will you enjoy your individual program, your specialist program that you choose, but as students here, you part of a community at the business school, and we then work with that community and take students on trips and treks and go and visit businesses. So there's a really active engagement, sort of business focused and social. So I think it's also, working beyond the immediate program. I think there's lots of opportunities, which I feel is one of the unique, well, not unique, but one of the special benefits of being part of Newcastle University Business School. Business schools are required by dint of our accreditations to have these kind of engagements, but one thing I notice is how well we do that, how well resourced we are to do that, and how much students can be involved in that. So you can get sort of a part-time job, for example, whilst you're studying with us, where you work as a business ambassador and work in that sort of team with Jen and your colleagues, supporting these engagements as well. So it's a very partnership approach, I guess, as well as, so engaged internally and engaged externally, which I think is a really nice opportunity. That's just something I feel about here.
Yeah, maybe just in terms of academic support as well on the IB program, it's pretty much similar to what Sarah has talked about. So we've got the personal tutoring system in place. Absolutely, the lecturers and the seminar instructors very much approachable. So if you have questions, we also oftentimes have Q&A sections on the virtual learning environment that we're using. So if there are questions that are coming up, normally the module leaders check that very regularly. In terms of the capstone, it depends a little bit for the IB program, because we have 3 different capstones or dissertation choices, and they run slightly differently. So you don't necessarily just have an individual supervisor that can then support you, but you might also have more hands-on formats of group supervision where you bring your ideas to the classroom and then discuss that. And one other thing to add to that is we currently also have a module that is designed around supporting students throughout the academic year. So we run sessions on various elements where normally as DPD, myself and then my deputy DPD, Mayank, we provide a program of additional support that can support you, whether it's about specific skills that might be useful, so around presentations and how to do presentations, or if it's how to prepare for exams and what to expect from exams. There are some things that we just want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to ask the questions, and so far the feedback has been that it's really useful. So rather than doing more small scale DPD drop-ins, we have these we have a program of DPD support activities in place.
And that's the not for credit module. Yeah. So same on GHRM approach, really, I suppose. Yeah. Thank you, Jen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all very much. We've still got a couple of little bit of information to pass on with regards to scholarships and the application process and whatnot. DPDs, you're more than welcome to stay for that if there are any other questions, but otherwise I can release you off, and if there's any follow-up questions we can make sure that we put you in touch. And we've also got some information on how to get some further information as well. So
yeah,
with that,
no, thank you very much. Yeah, in that case, I've got another meeting to pop to, but yes, absolutely. Also for the students attending, if you have questions about the IB program, please do reach out, and possibly see you in September. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sarah.
Cheers.
So I'll go back to the slides that we looked at a little bit earlier on, just to provide a little bit of extra information for you all. Where are we? So just to go back a couple of steps there, I'm not sure, do feel free if you feel able to share that information in the chat box, you're more than welcome to. I don't know that if you guys are already offer holders here at Newcastle University Business School, or if you're still weighing up your options and still thinking about applying. But just to talk through the process a little bit, because it can be a little bit lengthy, and we're aware that what might seem obvious to us is not necessarily obvious to everybody. So we'll talk through the application process at quite a high level. If you do have any questions during this time, Sekar and myself are here to answer as best we can. And if we can't, we'll make sure that we reach out to, central colleagues in the admissions team to find out for you. But assuming that you haven't yet applied, what you would tend to do is you would engage with this kind of activity to search for a course or indicate an interest into a course. And then number one, really what you need to think about is double checking your entry requirements. The majority of our programs require a 2-1. In fact, I think all of our programs at MSc level require a 2-1. However, if you're not sure what your grade is going to be, you don't know if you're on the cusp of a 2-1 or a 2-2, it is absolutely worth your while still applying to us, and we can cross that bridge, excuse me, a little bit later on down the line. There's sometimes that, there are sometimes exceptions that we can make. So double check those entry requirements. In terms of our English expectations and requirements, I believe the majority of our programs are an overall of 6.5, and it's 6.0 in the other categories, apart from the degree in MSc Management, which requires a 6.5 in reading and speaking, I believe. All of the information is on the program pages on the website though, so do double check that. However, as I say, if you think you're on a cusp of a 2-1 or a 2-2, still do absolutely apply, and we can and it's, we can see where we end up a little bit later on down the line. When it comes to your application, it's worth considering your application documents. So there'll be a range of things that you need to gather, and that can sometimes take some time. So your transcripts, you'll also need to think about your personal statement that you want to include in there. People aren't always sure what to put in their personal statements, but we do have some guidance for that, I believe, on the website as well. The personal statement is really an overview of who you are at this stage and how you think this particular program or this particular area of study will benefit you going forwards. We don't expect you to have everything mapped out. We don't expect you to know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. This is really about your intent to study at Newcastle and why it's important to you and the sort of things that you're hoping to learn. It's worth thinking about, the sort of comments that our academics talked about today, about the holistic, about the in practice opportunity that you would have here at Newcastle to work with external organisations, to meet with people from across the world, to engage with our alumni community. Think about how those things could benefit you, and think about putting them into your personal statement. Once you have all of that in place, you can then apply through the online portal. The online portal, again, is available through our website and on the program pages. If you just click apply here, it'll take you directly through to that, and everything's managed through there. Your offers, uploading all of your documents, any queries that you might have are all managed through the portal. Then what happens after that is that your application will go through to our admissions team. So we have a admissions team based here in Newcastle, and it's a dedicated postgraduate team. And what they'll do is they'll consider your application. If it's a borderline or they're not too sure about your background, they'll come back to you and ask for further information, or they may well go out to the DPD to consider whether the DPD considers you to be suitable for that particular program. These decisions are made pretty quickly, I have to say. You should ideally receive a decision either way, but within a week or so. So we don't like to keep people hanging on. So assuming that you are successful, you will receive an offer through, and then it's a case of you firmly accepting your offer. And then it kind of moves, the ball sort of then bounces onto paperwork to do with, you know, your visa sponsorship to come and study here in the UK. So applying for your CAS, which is confirmation for your right to study. And what that'll do is that'll name Newcastle University Business School as your destination of study from September 2025 onwards. My top tip for this, and I think our top tip all the time for this, would be to get ahead of that process, depending on where you are in the world and depending on the country that you're applying from. It can take a little while for your visa to come through. So to avoid any panic or unnecessary stress, we would always recommend get your application for your CAS in sooner rather than later. Where possible, pay your deposit as quickly as you can as well, so that you're all set and you can start thinking about exactly what your life's going to look like here in Newcastle. Once you've accepted your offer, you will receive a confirmation of your offer, and then it's a case of starting to think about your student experience here, so starting to think about your accommodation. We'll be in touch with you all along the line, so if you are an offer holder on the call today, that you will receive regular updates from the university more broadly, as well as from the business school, on opportunities to engage, useful information about things to, you know, logistics that you might want to consider, and also the ability to reach out to designated teams. So we do have a designated visa team, for example, if you needed guidance on that, or if you need guidance on any of your entry requirements. So for example, perhaps you haven't reached the IELTS entry requirements that would be needed. We can talk to you a little bit about some of our pre-masters pathways, which are available through our partner Into. So for example, if you don't have the 6.0 or the 6.5 at this point, you can do a pre-sessional English course, a short course before you arrive here, or you can do what's known as a pre-masters, where you go to our partner Into, who are also based in Newcastle upon Tyne, and consider and complete an early pre-masters program, which will then allow you to transfer directly onto your program of interest here in the business school. So lots to consider. Do utilize the support that's out there from us, because we understand that this can be quite a fiddly process unless you know what you're doing. Just a quick word on, well, I think I've gone through all of that. There is a QR code there if you would like to scan that for further information. I'll leave it up for just a second there, but this just really sort of talks about the overall process in a little bit more detail, and sort of confirms what we said a little bit before that on the entry requirements. We will also upload these slides and this recording to our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back or you want to remind yourself at any point, we'll make sure that that's available for you as well. Just a quick word on scholarships, because we appreciate affordability is a big issue for a lot of people at the moment. So all of our tuition fees are currently up to date on our website. You can find them on each of the program pages. And if you are an international student, obviously it would be the international fees, and home student for the home fees. But we do have scholarships available, and it's worth doing a little bit of research on what you might be eligible for. So for example, here in the business school, we have designated scholarships available. We have £10,000 scholarships available for our Business Excellence Scholarship and our Dean's International Excellence Scholarship. Now, they are targeting students from specific target countries of ours. So for example, if you're from Latin America or maybe from Africa, we do have support available to you. And we also have some entry criteria to make sure that you're eligible for that as well. If you were thinking about studying at one of our Enterprise Innovation and Sustainability programs and you are a home student, we also have a one-off £4,000 scholarship available to you as well. You'll notice there's a QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of this particular slide. Please do scan that for more information, depending on where you are from in the world. So perhaps you're from India, perhaps you're from China. There are lots of opportunities for other scholarship awards to be made to you as well. Just a quick word on upcoming events. We have a range of events going on throughout the remainder of the winter and into the spring. It's really important to us to make sure that we're in touch with you all as offer holders and are able to articulate all the exciting things that we have to offer here in Newcastle. So on the 12th of March, and we will email you about this, so don't worry if you don't have it all written down to hand at the moment, but we will be in touch with you to tell you a little bit more about our Careers and Employability webinar, where you will hear directly from our careers team, who will be able to talk in a lot more detail about part-time work, full-time work, graduate schemes, getting sponsored in the UK, identifying your upcoming career path, thinking about your skills and your strengths, all of that exciting stuff. They'll be talking about that on the 12th of March. On the 13th of March, we're very lucky in that Professor Stuart Robinson has made time for us and to run a Meet the Dean session, which will be a live session whereby he will provide insights into studying here in the business school, and he'll also be available to answer any of your questions. On the 19th of March, we will run an industry engagement session, which is basically going to elaborate on how we as a business school integrate external businesses into our study. So if you're interested in what it could look like if you want to do a practice-based dissertation or a consultancy project, this will be a really interesting session for you to attend. And then at the end of March there, we'll also run a webinar on our business school alumni community and how you can get involved with them, how you can leverage them throughout your study as well to really enhance your learning, enhance your network, and learn a lot from people who've gone before you. And then we're back to the beginning, I believe. So if you do have any further questions, please feel free. We've included the inbox for your reference there. If you do have any questions and it doesn't occur to you until later on, we'll stay on the call for another minute or two if you so you can ask anything that you want to in the chat box. But I'll stop sharing, and in the meantime, I'll say thank you very much for joining us today, and we hope it's been a useful session for you. As I said before, we'll make sure the recording of this session is uploaded to our YouTube channel, and Sekar will also embed this into our emails. I'm saying that, Sekar, do feel free to put me right, into our emails. So you will hear from us, so don't worry, you won't miss out on anything. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any more questions coming in, so I'm going to pause the recording and say thank you very much for joining us today.